Live from the campus of Penn State University, this is PSN News. It's Wednesday, December 8th. Tonight, we'll have details on a local organization's new shelter and their plans to help the homeless this December.
We also have details on the effectiveness of mix and match booster shots, along with your weekly COVID-19 update. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Carlos Garcia.
And I'm Anjelica. Out of the cold, Center County, an organization serving the homeless, is renovating their newly purchased shelter after renting the location for the past year. The renovation will allow guests to have a permanent home with the option to stay overnight. Previously, the building was only a day shelter and guests would have to relocate and stay at local churches during the night. Some of the rooms are currently being transformed into bunk rooms, allowing for up to 30 occupants to the shelter. The renovations will be completed by either the spring or summer of 2022. Out of the Cold's Day shelter and resource is open daily from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and is located at the Meeting House at Atherton on 318 South Atherton Street. The night shelter is open from 8 p.m. to 7:30 a.m. and those looking to register for a spot should do so by 8 p.m. by calling the number on the OOTC's website.
More than 100 people participated in the YMCA of Center County's 19th annual Polar Bear Plunge on Saturday morning. 25 people dove into Penn's Creek behind Grace United Church of Christ in Spring Mills, while others plunged into the frozen-over traditional site at Black Moshannon State Park. Whether participants were looking to win the Best Costume Award or just jumping in their swim trunks, the event raised over $35,000 for the YMCA of Center County. Liz Tukanen, director of the Penns Valley YMCA, said, quote, "All of the money stays right at the branch that needs it, that you plunge for," end quote. The nation has been dealing with a public health crisis for the past 2 years. COVID-19 still plays a major part in day-to-day life, with vaccinations, positive cases, and possible exposures impacting events around the country.
PSN News brings you the latest COVID-19 stats from both Center County and the nation. Here is your weekly update. COVID hospitalizations are still rising in our area, with 72 cases on Tuesday. There was also one new COVID-19 death in Center County, bringing the county total to 265, which is 7 this month. Mount Nittany Medical Center reported 63 patients in the hospital. 7 are in the ICU. 43 patients are unvaccinated. 69.7% of the county's population have received at least one dose of the COVID vaccine, and 52.2% are fully vaccinated.
The number of COVID cases in the United States has seen a slight incline over the last 7 days, with 197,449 tests coming back positive. As the holiday season progresses, Americans should expect an increase in these numbers. As of December 6th, 197,787,696 citizens are fully vaccinated, accounting for more than 71% of the population. More than 236 million individuals have at least one dose, and an additional 46 million have received a booster shot. Coming up next, Destiny Sanchez has the latest stories on Penn State sports.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Destiny Sanchez with your sports update. Penn State women's basketball lost 70-40 on the road against number 10 Indiana on Monday in its Big Ten opener. McKenna Marisa led the Lady Lions with 20 points, her 7th 20-point game of the season. Marisa went 10 of 22 from the field and added 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and a block. Allie Brigham added 8 points, 4 boards, and 2 steals, while Leilani Kapanis had 4 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Penn State shot 34% from the field. Penn State is now 4-5 on the season, while Indiana improved 6-2. The Lady Lions return to the Bryce Jordan Center on Thursday, December 9th at 7 p.m. to face Rutgers in their first Big Ten home game of the season, followed by a Sunday, December 12th matchup against Youngstown State, tipping off at 2 p.m. Penn State softball head coach Clarissa Crowell announced the 2022 schedule Tuesday, highlighting 20 home games at Nittany Lion Softball Park and Beard Field. The Nittany Lions will play their first 25 of 56 games on the road in 5 different tournaments across the East Coast. This is after playing non-conference opponents during the non-traditional Big Ten-only season last spring. The home opener is scheduled for the weekend of March 18th through 20th, as Penn State is set to host a home tournament featuring UMass Lowell, Cornell, and Rider at Beard Field. Penn State will open the 2022 season at the Spring Games Tournament in Leesburg, Florida, the weekend of February 11th through 13th. Coach Crowell stated, quote, "We are excited for the opportunity to compete against several quality opponents, and I do believe our pre-conference schedule will prepare our team for Big Ten play," end quote. The New England Patriots threw just 3 passes to dominate on the ground in their win over the Buffalo Bills on Monday, taking the ball out of rookie quarterback Mac Jones' hands in wind gusts over 40 miles per hour and relying on their running game. The New England Patriots defeated the Buffalo Bills 14-10 at Highmark Stadium to enter their bye week as the #1 seed in the AFC. Overall, Jones was just 2 of 3 passing for 19 yards, while the Patriots ran 222 yards on 46 carries. The 3 passing attempts are the fewest in Patriots history, while the 2 completions match their fewest according to ESPN Stats and Information Research. The Patriots head coach Bill Belichick stated, quote, "We played kind of the way we felt like we needed to play to win. In the end, we scored enough points," end quote. That's all for sports. After the break, Kaylee Grill will bring you the latest in the world of entertainment.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Kaylee Grill with your entertainment update. Penn State professor Hester Blum competed in Jeopardy's first ever Professors Tournament. On Monday night, the English professor went head-to-head against Quantum Hans, a Vanderbilt law professor, and Gary Hollis, a chemistry professor of Roanoke. After a commercial break, Blum shared that she is publishing an edition of Moby Dick in May of 2022. The edition's introduction will explore the novel's ties to environmentalism, disability, sexuality, and more. Blum ended the game with $12,000 after a few ups and downs. Hans finished with $1, Hollis won with $20,000 and will move on to the semifinals of the Professors Tournament. Blum isn't out of the running just yet. She could still be picked as a wild card and also move forward depending on how her score holds up in the other 4 rounds of the quarterfinals. Friday Night State College is coming back to ring in the new year after being canceled last year due to the pandemic. The event will take place in downtown State College on Friday, December 31st. The 2022 celebration is family-friendly and alcohol-free. It is meant to offer an experience that is, quote, "a creative and new, healthy New Year celebration meant to replace watching television and alcohol-fueled New Year's Eve revelry," end quote. Some of the events include live performances and ice sculpting. The live performances can be seen at 2 o'clock, 4:30, 8:30, and 10:30 p.m. at the Blue Brick Theater and 3 Dots downtown. There will also be 3 variety performances this year, including acrobatic shows at the State Theater. For more information, visit the event's website. The 2021 People's Choice Awards took place yesterday at the Barker Hangar in Santa Monica, and the people have spoken. Artists across pop culture, music, movies, and TV found out their fate throughout the live event, with awards totally voted on by the people. Justin Bieber racked up 10 nominations, making him the most nominated male artist of the night. Halle Berry received the 2021 Icon Award. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson took home the People's Champion Award. Christina Aguilera took to the stage to accept the PCA's first ever Music Icon Award. And Kim Kardashian walked away with the 2021 Fashion Icon Award, accepting in an all-black Balenciaga and big sunglasses. She even paid tribute to her ex, Kanye West. That's all for your entertainment update. After the break, interview anchor Jace Obardo will be speaking to Penn State student Eric Suarez about his efforts to leave an impact on the university. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. Penn State is home to thousands of international students, making the university rich in diversity. Many of these students come here in an effort to make a better life for themselves through the high-quality education that Penn State offers. One of these students is Eric Suarez, who's in the studio with me today to talk about the many things he's doing here at Penn State to leave an impact on the university and raise awareness for his home country of Venezuela. Thank you for coming in today, Eric.
No, thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
So you were born and raised in Venezuela, and you grew up under the reign of the country's former dictator, Hugo Chavez. And so as you grew up, you saw your country basically deteriorating through the economic and social things that he, put into the country as a socialist dictator. And so at what point did you decide that you needed to leave South America and further your education in the United States, specifically Penn State?
Well, that's a really good question. I think that the dream of coming to the U.S. was always there, mostly from my parents, because for them, the U.S. always represented this place of opportunity, of freedom, of somewhere you can develop and grow up in your personal life, but also professionally. And they always see that future for me. But it wasn't supposed to be out of this sudden. In this context, I was born in 1999, which was the first year that Hugo Chavez took power. And it's very hard because I was born and Hugo Chavez was already there. And I never seen my country free. And I just grew up as a kid just experiencing things that I thought were normal until I came out of the country and then I realized, wow, this is not how normal childhood is supposed to look like.
Yeah, you never knew anything different than that.
Exactly. That's a very and then I first moved to Peru after a very hard incident directly to my family of political persecution, and in Peru I got to experience a little bit more of things, socializing with friends who have never experienced something like what I've experienced during those early years. I realized that how bad life was, and that was at a very short age of 11 or 12 years old around that time. So. But I continued that dream of coming to the U.S., of getting an education here, and eventually, after finishing high school in Peru, I take the big step and came here when I was 19, 18 years old.
Did your family move here with you?
No, I came here by myself.
Okay, so they're still in Peru then?
Recently, we are. They come all the time to Miami, so usually we try to coordinate, during the breaks and stuff, so I can just go and visit them. But yeah.
So you caught a lot of attention over the summer when you called for a Fidel Castro quote to be removed in the Cultural Center, the Hub. You tweeted, "I love my school, I'm proud to be a Penn Stater, but as a Venezuelan student who has seen the disaster, death, and misery socialism brought to my country, with Castro and Chavez and main sponsors, I feel heartbroken to find this." So you sent a formal letter to the university, and it was co-signed by other students and campus organizations, and you received a quick response from the university saying that they would remove it and that they understood where you were coming from. Why were you so passionate about seeing that this quote be taken down? And what does the removal of the quote mean for the Cuban and Venezuelan community?
Well, it's a lot of things. First, on the personal level, when you grow up in Venezuela and you see how your country continually deteriorates, and then you get out and you see from the outside and see how your family that remains there their lives start deteriorating. They start suffering. They start little by little losing the freedom they have, the opportunities. When you go to Venezuela, you even see many cases of people in the streets trying to find something to eat on garbage cans, things like that. On a personal level, it hurts me even to this day, of course, and it's just heartbreaking. And when you come here to the U.S. and you are in this university and you love the school, I think we can share that feeling. This university has given me so many good things, so many opportunities to grow up myself as a person and see others through the things I do on campus to grow, kind of promote or celebrate, because when you put a quote like this on campus, it's as a way of admiration. Celebrate this character, which represents so much, of the suffering of my people, of the people of Cuba, which, of course, Hugo Chavez was really close and actually inspired by Fidel Castro. And then you see the people of Cuba suffering, especially this summer. It just combines, and it just gives yourself a sense of responsibility that I come here, I know the dangers, I know the experiences, I have to stand up and say something, and I think that's what I did.
Yeah, and that says a lot to the university that they recognize like where you were coming from, and they knew that it should be removed.
Yeah, and I think that says a lot of, well, it was very fast on the response. It shows that the university cares about the student body and about what the students have to say, especially in this case. But it also shows a little bit of confusion about the current state of the US, where they probably don't know to what extent celebrating dictators like Fidel Castro, or honoring the life of
It's not talked
socialists,
about a lot.
which is exactly, it's
Yeah.
not talked about a lot. So it's very worrying,
Yeah.
I guess, that in an institution like Penn State, in such a public area, you can find quotes from such dangerous ideologies and people.
Well, that brings me to my next question, because you're a Schreier's Honor Scholar, you're in Lion Caucus, College Republicans, and you're Global Engagement Initiatives intern in the library.
Yeah.
So how do you use your platform through all of these organizations to make a change and give a voice to students like you?
Well, I think like it goes even before. I'm actually a transfer student from Penn State Abington, which is close to Philadelphia, and there I also work in global programs from the campus, and I got a lot of opportunities on the office to work as an international student orientation leader, as in the Student Government Senate. And a big part of my college experience was meeting and finding issues in the international student community and find ways to solve it. And I think that opened my mind and gave me a lot of skills to try to make an impact, and of course, and find these individuals' emotions, fears, and I don't know, things that block them from developing to their maximum potential, to become those people that this university wants them to be. And I think that I'm very proud of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of power in that too, and you're doing a great job with it.
Thank you very much. But also, now that I'm here in University Park, it's to a bigger magnitude, and especially on my work on the library, we're really planning to do a big project which is going to highlight even more the international student experiences, and especially giving them like a voice of their individual experience, but from the context of being an international student, which is also something I'm very proud about.
You can definitely come back and talk to us about that.
Sure.
So, you're majoring in international politics and economics. You've already done a lot to help out students here. What's your future hold? What do you see yourself doing as a career?
Well, I keep my options open.
Definitely.
I don't want to close any doors. I've got the opportunities of being around many great people, especially during the summer, because the whole campaign got actually a lot of diffusion around social media, and then that opened me opportunities to meet great people, very important people here in the U.S. and internationally even. So I'm really trying to keep my options open, but I really like the topics of development and trying to help people and keep pushing for, especially helping the voices of people like me who come from these hard situations in countries, and just helping them get the strength to speak up.
Great. Well, keep it up. Thank you so much for coming in today.
No, thank you again for inviting me. This was great.
All right. I'm Jay Sobardo. We'll be right back.
For those with the Pfizer/BioNTech initial COVID vaccine, a Johnson & Johnson booster will raise your immune response, according to researchers. A study of 65 volunteers with that vaccine combination demonstrated a more sustained antibody response against COVID and some variants, but the response was slower. In contrast, the Pfizer/BioNTech booster had a faster immune response, but it was not as sustained. Antibody levels dropped after 4 weeks with the Pfizer booster, but continued to rise with the J&J booster. The researchers do not yet know how the boosters and antibodies will respond to the Omicron variant.
The Biden administration just announced a diplomatic boycott of the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics. A diplomatic boycott would mean that no U.S. government officials would attend the Games, but U.S. athletes would still be allowed to compete. The United Kingdom and Australia joined the decision shortly after. China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs responded, as spokesman Zhao Lijian warned that China would take, quote, resolute countermeasures to any boycott, which would impact China-U.S. dialogue and cooperation in important fields, end quote. The Biden administration has been under pressure from lawmakers to institute the diplomatic boycott in order to take a stand against China's human rights abuses. calls for either a diplomatic or full boycott of the games have grown since Chinese tennis star Peng Shuai disappeared from public view for 3 weeks after making sexual assault allegations against a former senior official of the Chinese Communist Party. Peng has since reappeared, but questions remain about whether she's acting on her own free will. And that's all for tonight on PSN News.
Be sure to check us out on Twitter and Facebook at PSN News, on Instagram at Penn State Network News, and to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/PSN News.
Have a good night and stay safe, Penn State.